morning, everyone. So we're going to talk about something that I've not addressed, not even on TikTok, which is a very, very important issue and a very big problem in this country. And that is police overreach. Okay. What is that? Well, that is when these policemen think that because they have a badge and a gun, they can boss you around and bully you around and tell you what to do, and you have to comply. That is not true. See, a lot of us, when we get pulled over, we get nervous, right? For what? I don't know. They're just people like you and I, but they do hold a gun and a taser, which we know they are sometimes quick to use unnecessarily. I've seen it. I'm not saying, people I personally know as police officers are doing this, so don't take offense if you're on here and you're a police officer, but it's wrong. And your partners might have done it or whatever. And then, you have rookies that are learning this behavior, and then the whole system just becomes corrupt. But I personally know someone who was pulled over by gang task force. Number one, I don't think they even have jurisdiction to do a traffic stop, which is what they claimed they were pulling this person over for. Now, 3 officers approached his car. He had his windows cracked enough where they could hear him, but that wasn't good enough for them. They wanted the windows all the way down because they were fishing. They were on a fishing expedition. So when he refused and said, I'll give you my ID in 1 minute, I just want to turn my camera on, he was told, no, it doesn't work that way. We have our cameras on. Well, that's also false. You can absolutely put your camera on. And I highly recommend, if you get pulled over by an officer, I don't care for what reason, you put your camera on. Because there's a lot of bad jujus out there. And I heard a cop say, the ones that stayed behind, a lot of them are miserable, they hate their job, and they're shitting on the public. And if you do just a simple search on YouTube for like First Amendment auditors or cop watchers, you will see how badly they are shitting on the public. It's not the narrative they're showing you on your television that it's only one race. No, it's all that get abused and have their rights violated all the time. And murdered, wounded, same thing as the narrative that they want us to go with so that we can divide our country more. We're not divided enough. We have to keep dividing it more and more and more until we all just hate each other. But I think that's starting to backfire on them. Biden's losing his fan base. Clearly, I don't know how anybody would support that man right now for what he's allowing to happen to this country. And in case you didn't know, it's just being destroyed into shreds. So it's for the new world order that you people don't believe exists. You think it's all a conspiracy theory? No, that is the Great Reset, my friends. Why do you think they're crashing everything? The economy, the workforce, the dollar bill, the banks, everything, guys. They're crashing it. There's not going to be a president. There's going to be one person in order. Autocracy. It's an autocracy. This is what Biden is debating right now. If we should be an autocracy. Because democracy doesn't work. Democracy doesn't work because they don't allow it to work, because they're all a bunch of liars. And they're all a bunch of deceivers. And people are waking up to that now and realizing, hey, wait a minute. Did my vote even really count? Is this real? Yeah, no, your vote didn't count. You'll never vote who goes in that seat. It's all planned. They have people put in them seats for certain reasons, and that's it. But let's get back to the story, shall we? So he refuses to put his window down for the goon on the right, which he didn't have to. He was talking to this officer, and they only needed to be one officer for a damn traffic stop. Okay? You do not need 3 cops for a traffic stop for speeding, or so they say. Okay, maybe he was, I don't know. Either way, they still violated his rights. They then proceeded to rip him out of his car and cuff him because he wouldn't bow down to their orders, which they had no reason to do in the first place. They need reasonable suspicion of committing a crime or suspecting him of committing a crime, not a traffic stop. So now he's in cuffs and they're ripping apart his car, throwing things everywhere, and they don't care. They just leave it that way. And then they want to think they're cute and make jokes, and because he told them, he's like, listen, first of all, his father was a cop, so I'm pretty sure he knows his rights right off of that. But he's like, I've been watching these videos of all you cops out there violating people's rights. But the way he said it was, I've been watching cops, and they thought he was watching like the cops, like the bad boy, what you gonna do? No, not that cops. The Oathbreaker cops on YouTube, the real life Oathbreakers that the media won't cover. They'll only show you when it's gonna fit their narrative. But anyway, that's what's going on. This is what these officers are doing to people. And he does have a lawsuit. So I told him to go get a FOIA request and to start the paperwork and call a lawyer, because you absolutely have a lawsuit. They violated your rights big time. Search and seizure, taking him out of his car. Yeah. And he does have some bruising from them manhandling him. And his wrist, one of his wrists are swollen still from the cuffs. So he's got pictures of all this. Now, I don't know how the FOIA request is going to go down. Are they going to just try to keep brushing it off? But I told them, you go to that police station every day if you have to, because they will try to brush it off. If their cameras were not on, which they claim they were, which I don't understand how you cops do this, your cameras are on and you're violating people's rights. Do you guys think that's okay? You don't care if you lose your badge? No. You're here to protect and serve, not to do this shit to people. This isn't right. And this is why I am glad I did not become a police officer, because people would hate me. I'd be that cop that people didn't like. Not the public, my coworkers. Because I don't go for that shit. Abusing people, abusing power, acting like you're tough because you got a gun and a badge. It's really sad. If you got a passenger in your car, Massachusetts is not a stop and ID state. So they do not have the right to ask your passenger for their ID. They do it all the time. They violate rights all the time. So, just something I wanted to put out there. Go look up the First Amendment auditors. Go watch some cop watcher videos, and you'll see a whole new world. A world that you didn't even know existed. A world that you thought was only happening to one race. Because that's what your TV tells you. It's insane. It's insane, and it's only going to get worse because there's less and less cops. More cops are walking off the job, so now they're understaffed. Guys, we're about to enter hell. Literal hell. And I hope you are prepared mentally, physically, spiritually. This is also a spiritual battle, okay? So you're being attacked. They've opened the portal. You can believe it, you cannot believe it, but it's the truth. It is the truth. And I hope and pray that for those of you that don't see it, you do real soon, because your time is running short. God bless.